The name of the magazine is Eating. It's about education, like teaching people how to writing and the material of an article. The main part also was article instead of pictures. I often watch it once a month because it is monthly magazine and I often buy it from the bookstore of our school because the books are all about education and the knowledge of that magazine is various. So I can learn many different parts of information like communication skills. For example, how to communicate when you have different opinions with others, or how to introduce myself to become a team leader. I like that magazine because it helps me a lot. Last time I met a topic which is how to make China culture go global. I was surprised that I saw an article in Yiling about Jingju to foreigners. Yiling about introduce Jingju to foreigners. So I used the material to write a beautiful article and got a high markers.
Okay, here's sample 6 on the part 2 topic of describing a magazine. Let's have a listen.
The name of the magazine is Yiling. It's about education, like teaching people how to writing and the material of an article.
Okay. Now, if I were her, I would say the name of the magazine I'd like to talk about is Ealing. It's about education, that I understand. Teaching people how to. There's no ing, so how to write. I'm not sure about the writing and the material. I don't know what that means. How to write an article, maybe?
How to writing and the material of an article.
Kind of slow speech there.
The main part also was article instead of pictures.
The main part also was articles. So maybe she means the magazine features mainly articles instead of pictures, maybe? The magazine features mainly articles, I'm guessing.
I often watch it once a month.
Read, not watch. I often read it. But I don't really understand this. Often. Once a month. Is that often? I'm not sure.
It is monthly magazine.
It comes out monthly. It comes out monthly.
And I often buy it from the bookstore of our school because the books are all about education.
I'm a little bit confused now. She's talking about a magazine, but now she's saying the book. Is it a book or is it a magazine? Whichever it is, why is this R? The book or the magazine is all about education.
And the knowledge of that magazine is various.
I don't know what that means. The knowledge of the magazine is various. The magazine has a variety of content, I'm guessing.
Knowledge of that magazine is various. So I can learn many different parts of information.
Don't know what this means either. I can name many different parts of information. I can't even guess.
Part of information like communication skills. For example, how to communicate when you have different opinions with others.
Here is a pretty long structure that's easy to understand and doesn't have any mistakes. This is good.
Or how to introduce myself
How to introduce yourself, maybe.
to become a team leader.
This I'm not sure about. How did you introduce yourself to become a team leader? You just say hello and then you're the team leader? What?
I like that magazine because it helps me a lot. Last time I met a topic.
You don't meet topics. Last time I read about a topic, which was
Which is how to make China culture go global.
Okay, so last time I read an article about how to make Chinese culture go global.
China culture go global. I was
Surprised.
I saw an article in
An article.
reading about京剧.
You know what? If you're going to use words that are not English, if it's a name, it's okay. But if it's something like Peking opera, why not say the English Peking opera? If you use words that are not English and it's not a name, not a good idea. It shows you don't have the necessary vocabulary to talk about a topic in English. Now, if something is named in a foreign language, use the name. But if it's not a name, I would not recommend doing that.
To foreigners. Reading about introduce京剧to foreigners.
There's some repetition here that I don't quite understand. I saw an article.
To foreigners. Reading about introduce京剧to foreigners.
Well, about should be followed by a noun. So introducing.
So I used the material to write a beautiful article and got a high markers.
And it seems to me she's confusing marks and markers. Not the same thing. Let's look at some scores. Okay, let's have a look at fluency and coherence. I'd say 5. She spoke quite slowly, and it wasn't always possible to understand everything she said, for example. I'm not sure what this means. Writing the material of an article. Not sure what that means. This, I think, is more of a vocabulary problem. It's not so much coherence. I can name many different parts of information, like communication skills. It's difficult to know what that means. I can introduce myself to become a team leader. I mean, there's nothing wrong with the words individually, but what is the message here? I don't understand. Yeah, so slow speech, and sometimes it's hard to make out what she's saying. If we move on to vocabulary, Lexis, also a 5. Lots of times she uses the wrong words, like we saw here. Got a high marker, or high markers. She confuses marks and markers. She uses Chinese words in an English test. Go global is pretty good. See if we have other outstanding vocabulary. We have these different parts of information. Those are the wrong words to use. She confuses watch and reads. Watches and reads. This is vocabulary. I mentioned this before, but this is a vocabulary issue. So vocabulary 5, grammar 5, because the mistakes cause comprehension problems. We have a lot of simple sentences that are okay, like, for example, this. I used the material to write a beautiful article and got a high mark. I know the word is wrong, but the grammar is okay. But like, for example, here, I was surprised that I saw. I think she wanted to maybe to say I was surprised when I saw. She says instead of an. About, but then it's a verb and not a noun. So a lot of mistakes in the more complex sentences. Simple sentences, let's see, for example, how to communicate when you have different opinions with others, or how to introduce yourself to become a team leader. Pronunciation, also 5. We didn't see a lot of stress. We didn't see a lot of intonation. Although she didn't mispronounce any words. I didn't catch any mispronunciations. But still, we didn't see those positive features. You need to get a 6. So 5.